Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we've got the first sneak peek live for the next update that should be coming towards the end or at the end of the month. So it's super exciting, but it's also super confusing and kind of vague. But we actually got it first on the Taiwanese Mobrum, and this is why it pays you guys to be bilingual and also to check the different Mobrums. And of course you can translate this into English if you want, but the interesting part here, and basically the only thing that's going to make any sense, is the image. And the image, as you can see, is this blue background with this really cool red kind of Asian, kind of Chinese looking, samurai looking mask, possibly Japanese, I don't know. And then it's got some glowing eyes and a kind of glowing moon shape at the top. Doesn't actually relate specifically or directly to any existing character that I know of in any kind of Marvel situation, whether it's comics, movies, books, video games, or otherwise, but it does bear some resemblance to a lot of different characters that we've seen over the years. And then after that, it was posted on the Korean Naver Cafe, which is kind of like their version of Mobrum. And then like 30 minutes later, after I had tweeted it, Netmarble decided to tweet it themselves on their English Twitter, and the text is the interesting part here. This mask holds great power, but only the purest of hearts will be able to wield it without being overcome by its creator's influence. So there's an interesting kind of play here. It kind of seems to sound that a young hero is going to put on this mask, and they're going to wield the power that the mask gives them, which is really cool, and I like the sounds of that, and it sounds like some interesting new character. And then if you go over to the Mobrum, which was the last place that it was posted, the English Mobrum, we have CM Fragment going on about a mysterious aura radiating around this mask, and there's no data on the subject or on the object in their archives. It's a mysterious mask. And then they say that they don't have any idea, and they're asking us, do we have any idea who owns this mask or where it's from? And there's a lot of different ideas that I've seen thrown around already. I've seen a lot of ideas thrown around on Twitter, on Reddit. People have been messaging me online. And yeah, there's a lot of good ideas, but none of them really, in my opinion, line up too much. But I do want to point out that this kind of imagery is quite similar to some existing imagery that we have, whether it's based around the hand organization, which is a criminal organization, or based around Mr. Negative. If you guys have played Spider-Man PS4, you watched my playthrough of Spider-Man PS4, a lot of the demons wear masks that, while they're not the same as that mask, they're similar. And of course, I mentioned the hand and I mentioned Mr. Negative because they both have a hand in some existing Daredevil and Defenders storylines, most notably as it relates to Marvel Future Fight, Shadowland, where Mr. Negative and the Hand help Daredevil kind of take over Hell's Kitchen. And so I wanted to point that out, that we're currently having a Defenders login event, so there is some connection that I can make between the possibility of this mask belonging to some character of that origin, or some character who shares some similarities, whether it's a martial arts background, whether it's some sort of code, whether it's some sort of, power system that's passed down from generation to generation, and that could possibly link back to, our friendly blind superhero, or not. The other prevailing idea that a lot of people have voiced is that it's an original character, and I think this is probably the best way to go. I gave you guys all that other stuff at the beginning, not the beginning, the last thing I just said, because it's a far shot. It's kind of a long shot. I think the more likely guess, the more likely scenario is that we are seeing another new character coming to the game, which is really exciting because we've had two original characters in Marvel Future Fight. Marvel Contest of Champions is getting their second or third original character, I think third original character, or fourth, in Aegon, who was announced at New York Comic-Con, who looks really cool. He's a really awesome designed character. And we, got Luna Snow earlier this year in January, at the beginning of the year. So it's been about 8 months, it looks like, or 7 months, 8 months since we got a new character, an original new character. And of course, like 2 years ago, almost, or yeah, over 2 years ago, about 2 years ago and 3 months, we got this young girl, Sharon Rogers, the alternate reality daughter of Captain America, and she was a welcome addition to the game at the time. And both characters, while they may not be as powerful as they once were when they were introduced, are still extremely viable characters. And although we have Ghost Panthers and we have Iron Hammers to try and take over the legacy of these characters, a lot of new players are still recommended to get Captain America Sharon Rogers as one of their first investments, and that's still true now. So if this is an original character, you can bet your ass that this character is going to be a dominant force. Now, immediately people are going to start cracking jokes that it's a paywall character and yada 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 because of the last update, Gambit and Sentinel, etc. And yeah, you do have some cause to raise that concern and to make that joke because Luna Snow is a paywall character. Sharon Rogers wasn't, but we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out if that is the case. But it's really interesting because it really could go anywhere. The Captain America Sharon Rogers update was very small. It only included one other character who was Sin. Sin being the daughter of Red Skull, so there's kind of a connection there between Captain America and Red Skull being nemesises, and then Sin and Sharon Rogers also being kind of mortal enemies. The only difference being that Sin is absolute garbage in this game, just like her father, and Captain America and Sharon Rogers are both super useful in this game. It's kind of sad for the villains, man. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the Luna Snow update, it kind of came in between two bigger updates. It wasn't an update. It was literally just Luna Snow and a song. You and Me, or Tonight. So we should probably expect a full update because I think by the time this update lands, this mask update lands, it will be a full month at least, or 5 weeks since the last update, which gave us, of course, the Giant Boss Raid and Gambit and these characters. And so, while I don't know what to expect, I do have pretty high expectations for the quantity. Not necessarily the quality, but the quantity of the update. And also coming very shortly before that update is going to be the Black Friday sales. Now, I haven't, I've tried not to, I haven't given you guys concrete dates on these things because of course they can fluctuate. I don't work for Netmarble, and so I can't guarantee it, but judging by last year's cycle, judging by my videos last year that are always on the same day, I think that next Friday, so not this coming Friday the 16th, but the one after that, the November 23rd, is going to be when the Black Friday sales begin, and they usually last for at least 3 days, if not a week, I believe. And then on that same week following, on the 28th or the 27th at night, depending on where you are in the world, there should be another update. Now, if you guys don't remember, I'll remind you, last year on November 28th, the update that we got in Marvel Future Fight, and I'm kind of dragging this one out because it's a bit of a whammy. We got the Ultimates update last year, guys. Yes, it's been 1 year. This is our 1 year anniversary of the debacle, the shitstorm that was Nova, Ant-Man, and Blue Marvel. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how Netmarble handles this. It's a really interesting update cycle because we have an event that is pretty much universally hyped by the community. Even if you're a free-to-play player, you're excited for Black Friday because you've saved up tons of crystals and you want to see tons of good deals, especially on uniforms, because we have gotten accustomed to a 50% off instead of 40%. So that extra 10%, even to the cheapest of players, is really important to them, and they value that. And so this huge event is being hyped to basically spend your crystals and spend your money, and then right after that, a week or less than a week, 5 or 6 days later, this update lands. So it's not really an exaggeration to say that this new character, whoever this mysterious masked hero character is, there's quite a lot riding on their success. There's quite a lot riding on their impact in the game. There's quite a lot riding on what the update's going to bring in terms of new game modes, changes to existing game modes, and characters. And especially when it comes down to characters, are we going to be seeing characters that are free-to-play friendly? I don't really like to use that word or that phrase a lot because it has some confused ideas attached to it, but it is important. On the 1 year anniversary of the Ultimates, that Netmarble recognizes, hey guys, a year ago we made a mistake. Here's the mea culpa one more time. Here's a character like Iron Hammer. Here's a character like Angel, where you can farm them very easily, just spending your energy or spending your bio selectors that you get from Shadowlands. Super simple. you know, just kind of like this and like that. And the character is strong and the character is useful. Much in the same way that Sharon Rogers, when she was introduced, was a dominant force and was extremely easy and readily available to all. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. So whether this character specifically, this masked samurai, kind of Moon Knight looking, Crimson Samurai, Scarlet Samurai looking character, whether it's going to be them or someone else in the update, I don't know. But I do think it might be too much in terms of expectations, but I do think it would be a good move. That's as far as I'll go. I do think it would be a good move. It would be a great way of kind of permanently burying that kind of stain in the collective mind of the players by having the 1-year anniversary update being a much more accessible update for all players to enjoy. Now, if you ask me, what do I want? Man, I don't really care about characters personally. I'm excited. Any kind of new character, any kind of original character, I am excited for, because I think Netmarble does a fantastic job of creating characters with kind of a pretty rich lore and rich history. They're not just throwaway characters with no backstory. They have connection to existing characters in the Marvel Universe, and usually to connecting to high-profile existing characters like Luna Snow and Tony Stark. And while some people may think that it sounds corny, it's still pretty cool that they're able to kind of place these characters at the center of much larger characters who are super involved in a lot of the core story elements for Marvel Comics. And I'm just saying that in relation to the game. They're not actually in the comics, but it's nice that they're not just fringe characters on the outskirts of existing characters' universes. So I am really excited to see what this samurai-looking mask character will hold. I am gonna guess, personally, that it's a hero, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's gonna be a combat-type hero, because we've gotten a Blast in Sharon Rogers and a Speed in Luna Snow. A Universal would be dope too, but I think more than any class, and I almost want to make another video about it, the combat class is hurting really bad. It sucks, man. It sucks really bad. There's like 2 good characters, basically, Captain America and Black Panther, a few decent characters, Hulk, Apocalypse, and Wolverine. And then after Wolverine, man, it takes a huge nosedive into the bleachers with some of these characters, and they're just, it's kind of lackluster. So, yeah, is the combat class the new speed class? If you guys remember those old videos I used to make about the speed class, holy crap. It's all come full circle, guys. Let me know what you think of the sneak peek. Let me know what speculation you have on this new character. How is the mask and how are the powers within and the creator's power going to influence the character's design and the character's possibly the skill set, and even possibly, you know, is the character going to be neutral and not superhero or supervillain? Are they going to change depending on certain parameters? Who knows? There's so many ways this can go. Let me know. Hit me up down below in the comments. Also, chime in about the combat class thing that I said and weigh in with your opinions. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.